If you want to make a gorgeous crochet headband in under an hour, then this is the video you need. Go ahead and get yourself some DK weight yarn and also a 4mm crochet hook, and let's get started. So we're going to begin by creating a slip knot, and you can do this in whichever method you prefer. Go ahead and insert your crochet hook, and we're going to begin by chaining 87. So that's yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause the video, chain 87 and meet me back once you're ready. So once you've chained 87, you'll have a long chain like this. We're going to go ahead and start with row 1. So row 1, we're going to start in the second chain from the hook. So not the one on the hook. We have 1 and 2, but we're actually going to work into the back bump of the chain. So not into the top of the chain like you can work here. If you turn it to the side, you see these back bumps here, that's where we're going to work. So again, you can turn it over and count 1 and 2. So in this back bump, we're going to do a half treble crochet, which is a UK term. In the US, this is known as half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, go into that back bump, and you can use your nail just to push that on if you need to. Yarn over, pull through, you'll have 3 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So that's 1, and then we're going to go again, yarn over, insert into that back bump, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. We've now done 2 half trebles. This missed chain does not count as a stitch. So we're going to go ahead and do this all the way across our chain. You will end up with 85 half trebles. So go ahead, pause the video, work your way all the way across and meet me back once you're ready. So at the end of your row 1, this is what it should be looking like. We're then going to go ahead and move on to row 2. Now row 2 is the repeat that we're going to be using for row 2 to 11. So I'll demonstrate this row and then you can rewind and re-watch again if you need to for the following rows. So we're going to go ahead and chain 2 and turn our work. Now this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. We're going to go ahead and place a half treble crochet into the back loop only of that very first stitch. So because this chain 2 does not count as a stitch, we're going to be working into this very bottom stitch just here at the base of the chain 2. And instead of working into the full stitch, where you can see the 2 loops of the V, we're only going to be working into that back loop. So we're going to yarn over and go into that back loop of that stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Now at this point, if you're not overly confident with counting your stitches, or you feel like you gain or lose stitches, then I would go ahead and pop a stitch marker right into that very first stitch here. So it's right next to, it's the V next to the loop on the hook just here. So we're going to simply do this all the way across, working into the back loop only, that half treble crochet, which is a half double crochet in US terms. And you will have exactly the same amount of stitches as your previous row, which is 85. So I'm going to work my way across and then I'll meet you back in just a moment. Okay, so I've worked my way across. I have 1 stitch remaining, which is just here. I would recommend that you go ahead and count your number of stitches across to make sure that you have 85, or just ensure that you're using a stitch marker for each row so that you're not losing count. But you want to go ahead and repeat row 2 for rows 3 to 11. So go ahead, pause the video, work your way to row 11 and then meet me back once you're ready. So once you've done your 11 rows, you'll have a piece that looks like this, a long, thin rectangle. We're going to go ahead and yarn over and pull through to fasten off. and we want to leave a really nice long tail end for sewing in, roughly around 30 centimetres. So go ahead and snip off your yarn and then pull that through, and then there we have our shape. We then want to fold the two shorter sides together like so, but we don't want to have them flat together or aligned like this. What we actually want to do is think about the center point of where they are, and then we want to place them so that there's an overhang on each side. So thinking about the halfway mark, each side goes halfway into the next one. We're then going to create a bit of a sandwich. So we're going to take this overhang and bring it round this side, and we can adjust it slightly to get that into place. And then we're going to take this side and bring it round like so. And then we have 4 thicknesses. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to go ahead and turn it round so that the tail end is closest to me. And I'm going to take my darning needle and thread that up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work through all 4 thicknesses with our darning needle. So I'm going to start on where this tail end is, just in the row ends of that first layer. Go into the second layer, make sure you catch the end of that third layer, and then go through the 4th layer, like so. So you're going to pull that through. I'm going to come back to the side where I am and then move across through the top of all 4 layers. So all 4 thicknesses, and pull tight. And then again into the next, just slowly working your way across. You're not specifically working into like the rows, you're just making sure that it's secured through all 4 thicknesses all the way across. If you do have to pull them apart slightly to make sure you are going through all 4, then please go ahead and do so. And then one of the most important ones is this one where you're coming towards the edge. So we want to make sure that we're getting right towards the edge there and pulling through. I'm actually going to go through that edge one once more, and then I'm going to fasten that off. I'm going to do that once more, coming through that loop, and that creates a knot. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to weave that in and out, all of those fibres, one way, and then making sure I'm working in through different fibres, back the other way, and then once more, because I like to use the rule of 3, back through those fibres and pull through. You can go ahead and fasten off or trim that tail end. And then I'm going to deal with this tail end just here. And then all we have to do is turn it to reveal this beautiful knot on the front of the headband. So there we have the gorgeous Heather Heels headband, super easy and effective to make. And if you like this easy tutorial, then you may also like this video too.